Today we're going to be continuing our study of themes that we've been talking about this week by reviewing what themes are, how we can find them in a story, and then reviewing the story that we just finished, Charlotte's Web, reading. So you all should know what I'm talking about. And we are going to talk about the themes in Charlotte's Web. And then we're going to end the lesson with you guys doing a writing assignment for me about these themes that you see and what you've learned about them. So the first thing that we want to do is review what a theme is. If you remember at the start of the week, we learned that a theme is the central idea of a story, poem, or other piece of writing. And it's a truth of life that the writer is going to talk about through the setting, conclusion, characters, and events of the book, which is why it's really important to know what's going on and to know what characters are interacting and when, and it's important to know when the story starts and when it ends. And this is how we're able to find themes in a story, by thinking critically about the story and the different pieces that it's made of. Big events can happen between characters in a story, which can mean that friendship is a big theme, or death. Or we can see a character dying and it can be very important, which could mean death is a big theme. Setting can be important because it can communicate a feeling to a story, like light or darkness, that could also be a big theme. So it's really important to know what's going on in a story and make sure that you understand it while you're reading it, because this is how you're going to find the themes. The themes are what makes up the story. And so this is what we've been talking about. Next, let's do a quick summary of Charlotte's Web so that you all have it fresh in your mind, the themes that you want to be thinking about, and the story that you just read, you want to have it fresh in your mind so that you know what you're going to be writing about. So it begins with a little runt piglet named Wilbur, who grows up and then learns that he is going to be slaughtered for Christmas dinner. And the only friend he has is a barn spider named Charlotte, who becomes his friend because she hears him crying because he's going to die. And so we see her wanting to help him. And how she helps him is she starts making words in her web. And we see that these words get a lot of attention because these words are about Wilbur. And so people come, see it, and he gets famous. And then he eventually ends up winning an award. And so now he's not going to be killed because he's a famous pig. But he gets this award at a county fair. And he gets this award at a county fair. And at this county fair, Charlotte has a lot of kids, and she's not able to go back to the farm with him because she's too sick. And so she ends up leaving all of her eggs with him, and he takes them back, but he has to leave her there as she's dying. And then we learn that he cares for the eggs, and then 3 are born that stay with him. So he ends up gaining some friends. So it's a really happy ending to the story, but also a little sad because he had to leave his friend behind. And so through this story, we can see lots of different themes emerge. And I've written down a few of our ideas on this paper so we can all see them. There's friendship, there's sacrifice, there's life, death, time passing, strength and perseverance, growing up, kindness, care, and selflessness. And these are all themes that we can see in our own lives, right? These are all things that we can see and we can feel what Wilbur and what other characters are feeling in the story because we know what these things are. And the last thing I'm going to have you guys do today is write about these themes. I want you to pick 2 to 3 of these themes and write 2 to 3 paragraphs about them. What I would do if I were you is choose 2 themes such as life or death, something easy to compare and contrast. And if you don't remember what that means, it means to tell me what's similar about them and what's different. So I want you to compare and contrast themes based on what you see in the story. So I want you to bring up evidence from the story about how you see these themes, what characters, what events. And then finally, I would write a little bit about how these themes are important in my own life and what the story teaches me about them. So if you have any questions while you're writing, I'm here to help, and I can't wait to read them, guys.